The Diversity Project was inspired by a project that came out of Organization Against Racism and Hate. They had received a small grant money to provide a diversity caravan, if you will. This was going to be a bus that was going to travel through seven communities in the summertime, attaching itself to events that were already taking place in that community to spread the word about diversity and educate people and have different projects that were going to happen along the way. When they got to Nanaimo, they decided to attach themselves to VIX, and they wanted us already in Nanaimo to come up with a project that we could do in tandem with them. We thought about something that the youth could do that they could actually take away and have a product at the end of the day that they could be proud of. And they could make a movie. They could learn the process about making a movie, as well as some interviewing skills. And so we set out to go to VIX and interview as many people as we possibly could and ask the question, what do you think of diversity in your community?
I think diversity in our culture today is a very important part of the fabric of being Canadian and living in this country. And I think the more diversity you have, the more we can learn about ourselves and each other and become better at learning to live together. Because if we don't do that, how are we going to move forward as a species on this planet?
I think diversity in Canada is quite incredible.
I actually think that having a lot of different cultural ideas is wonderful because it leads to fusions and innovations and new ideas that are what feed both people and community and a country.
Build tolerance towards other people?
By having these kinds of conversations, being more open with individuals and encouraging some dialogue, opening doors and getting people to talk, and ultimately world peace will become.
When I came to Nanaimo, it was so white and you could hardly see the long-time Chinese populations from India and some from Vietnam. You could hardly see them when I first arrived, and I think that's changing now. It's become a more visibly diverse community. I like that.
What do you think is the biggest problem in Canada today involving diversity?
I think the biggest problem is ignorance in general. When I say ignorance, I mean lack of understanding. A dramatic example would be our attitudes towards immigration, where we believe that if more people come into this giant country that has very few people in it, that somehow there'll be less for us. The fact of the matter is, we need people to come here to bring the kinds of skills that we no longer have in Canada. People who are willing to work hard, people who have education, and people who have energy and enthusiasm and are grateful for all that Canada has to offer and want to bring what they have and share it.
So what do you think about diversity in the whole Canada and especially Nanaimo? Like diversity? What do you think about it?
Yay! Well, it depends on what you mean by diversity, doesn't it? Because, yeah. Yes, I actually think that having a lot of different cultural ideas is wonderful because it leads to fusions and innovations and new ideas that are what feed both people and community and a country. But diversity is also a weird word because sometimes it's used to suppress things or just to mean people that are different. And so it's really important that all of us remember that we all have culture and we're all ethnic, even though people always thought, well, you're white, you don't have culture. Well, yes. Even if I'm white, I have white culture, and I just happen to be half Arab, and so it's really important to know those things. And the diversity means difference, but not hierarchy.
Yeah. It's not face.
As far as I know, my father's background was Irish. My mom's Scottish and Cree. And what else?
We would like to know your opinions on diversity. How important is it to you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it is important that, everybody should sort of keep their cultural roots in some aspects.
And what do you think can be done more to promote multiculturalism?
What can the media do more?
Anyone, media, the community.
Well, definitely get it out there into the media, the newspapers, television, if you can get some free advertising or whatnot, because it's important for the little ones to sort of realize where they sort of came from and hang on to some of their cultural backgrounds. I do believe in that.
And how important is it that we learn about other cultures?
Well, I think it's very important because we have a lot in common. Everybody feels pain and everybody feels
diversity,
love.
aren't you?
I'm Métis, and my family is one of the first families that were in British Columbia. We came in with Simon Fraser in 1804. That's Blackfoot beading on my vest. So one line of our family, the Bird family, married to Blackfeet.
I think it's a great thing because you can learn things from them. Different languages are great too.
We have a lot of things to teach the people. Many of the things that the people have done are taken from First Nations people, and how to preserve and just looking after the environment. If they would listen to the First Nations people and how they looked after their country where they live, their area. They didn't overfish, they didn't overhunt, they never picked over too many berries. There was always something left behind for the future. Once you understand another person, their culture, how they came, how they live, well, it's easier to get along with.
This is a perfect example of segregation. Notice how the white ducks are separated from the colored ducks.
I was born in Managua, which is in Nicaragua in Central America. We speak Spanish there, so we're Hispanic, Latin American, and it's a beautiful country. It's actually the largest country in Central America.
What does diversity mean to you?
Diversity, well, different people coming together, different opinions, different backgrounds, different education, different experiences, different beliefs. And I think one just complements the other.
My thoughts about diversity. Well, first of all, I really embrace it because myself, I'm a first-generation Canadian, and I grew up in the Italian community here in Nanaimo. My dad was from Germany and my mom was was from Italy. So 2 thumbs up for diversity.
All right.
Being diverse will help you later on in the future.
There you go.
Whatever she said.
I think diversity is a very interesting thing, very important, because humanity is basically made of many diverse cultures, ethnicities. So I think that the more people get out and meet and are around other kinds of people, the more they find out that we have a lot more in common than we have.
I like having people from different cultures come and teach us about their culture and their traditions, and I think it's great to learn.
Okay, we do the same thing. Yeah?
First Nations. I'm from the Nisga'a Nation.
And what are your thoughts on diversity?
Everybody's the same in my eyes. Like, nobody's different because they're skin color.
What do you think the world would happen if there's no diversity?
This would be real boring.
Support diversity. I feel that Canada should have many different people, and that comes down to all sorts of ethnicities and races and cultures and creeds, and even clowns fit into the grand picture.